to do everything in my power to be the agent of positive change, but I cannot do it alone. First, I called upon the revealed institution that hosts us today and from which the Vice President and I come, the legislative, our co-equal branch of government, to work with me to create and pass essential laws that are needed to complete the foundation of this nation. Together, we hold our citizens clarity on fundamental issues such as the land beneath their feet, freedom of speech, and how national resources and responsibility are going to be shifted from this capital to the county. The people expect better cooperation and more action from their government. We can do better together. Today, Liberians have reached an important milestone in the never-ending journey for freedom, justice, and democracy. A surge that has remained central to our history as a nation. Many of those who founded this country left the pain and shame of slavery to establish a society where all will be free and equal. But that vision of freedom, equality, and democracy has not yet been realized. That human longing for the true and lasting freedom has revealed itself in many ways since Liberia's founding. Sometimes the drive has been divisive and confrontational, and too often violent, bloody, and deadly, as it was in the 40 years of civil conflict, when the essence of equality and unity led us down the path of destroying our own country. Notwithstanding the harshness and immeasurable cost of the lesson, we have learned that equality and freedom are never just a final destination that the people or a nation reaches. These are the fundamental human rights that our people deserve, and that must be held up and measured against our action, our policy, our laws, and our people are those elected to serve the people. Almost 50 years ago, Liberians laid down their arms and renewed their hope for a better and more equal society. With the help of regional partners, the United Nations, we chose democracy as our path and elected the first post-war government, which was led by Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Your Excellency, I thank you for laying the foundation upon which we can now stand in peace and to advance progress for our country. But this inaugural ceremony signals more than a peaceful transition from one democratic administration to another. It is also a transition from one generation of Liberian leadership to a new generation. It is indeed a confirmation that democracy exists in Liberia, and that it is here to stay. We have arrived at this transition neither by violence nor by force of arms. Not a single life was lost in the process. Blood should never be the price tag for democracy. Rather, this transition was achieved by the free and democratic will of the Liberian people, guaranteed by the rules of law. This inaugural gathering also celebrate an important precedent that we Liberians can and will rely on established institutions and the rule of law to resolve our political agreements. This demonstrates the maturity of our institutions and that we as a people have learned valuable lessons from our brutal history. My fellow Liberians, let none the splendor of these ceremonies, none the celebration of electoral victory, make us forget how we arrived at this moment. We have arrived here on the blood, sweat, tears, and suffering of so many of our citizens, too many of whom died, longing for real freedom and equality. Today, we must remember the hundreds of thousands who died and many more whose lives were upended and families displaced because we lost the sight of the fact that we can only reach a higher state of equality and freedom by treating each other with love and respect, not tearing each other down. Truly, taking this lesson to heart will bring the dawn of a new Liberia, so that their death would not be in vain. I solemnly pledge today, with the help of all of you, my fellow citizens, to build a Liberia of equality, freedom, dignity, and respect for one another. Let us all stand for the moment of silence to remember those who died on our soil, in our conflict and by our own hands. Let it never be so again. Thank you. Please be seated. My fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, on this day of inauguration, as we begin to build upon the foundation of this new Liberia, I, George Fokke Klon Jirade Bakugbe Tape Malewia, your new president, will first give thanks and praises to the Almighty God for the blessing He has bestowed upon our country. And I say, my people, thank you, Yah. Thank you, Yah, for entrusting me with the responsibility of leading the effort to build this new and better Liberia. It will be my task, my duty, and my honor to lead this nation from division to national unity and toward a future of hope and prosperity. I have here taken an oath before you, and therefore, and before the Almighty God, to uphold the Constitution and to pray to preside over this government and this country to the best of my ability. Rest assured, I will not let you down. And so, my fellow citizens, I want to acknowledge you that the foundation of the new Liberia must be reinforced by the seed of integrity. We need men and women, boys and girls, whose integrity provides the foundation of the trust that is required for Liberian society to benefit our people. My fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, during my tenure as president of Liberia, the loudest battle cry that must ring from the mountain of Wologisi to the peak of Yekepa, from the ranges of Putu to the hills of Bomi, and from the coast of Harper to the shores of Morovia, must be the cry for national unity. We should strive to put aside our differences and join hands in the task of our nation building. We must learn how to celebrate our diversity without drawing lines of division in our new Liberia. We belong to Liberia first, before we belong to our inherited tribes or chosen counties. We must not allow political loyalties prevent us from collaborating in the national interest. We must respect each other and act as neighbors, regardless of religious, social, and economic differences. In the words of our national anthem, a union strong, success is sure. We cannot fail. United, we are certain to succeed as a nation. Divided, we are certain to fail. Fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, it is my belief that the most effective way to directly impact the poor and to narrow the gap between the rich and poor is to ensure that public resources do not end up in the pocket of government officials. That the overwhelming mandate that I received from the Liberian people is a mandate to end corruption in public service. I promise to deliver on this mandate. As officials of government, it is time to put the interests of our people above our own selfish interests. It is time to be honest with our people. Though corruption is a habit amongst our people, we must end it. We must pay civil servants a living wage so that corruption is not an excuse for taking what is not theirs. For those who do not refrain from enriching themselves at the expense of the people, the law will take its course. I say today that you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. To the private sector, I say to you, Liberia is open for business. We want to be known as a business-friendly government. We will do all that is within our power to provide an environment that will become conducive for the conduct of honest and transparent business. We will remove unnecessary regulatory constraints that tend to impede the establishment and operation of business in a profitable and predictable manner. As we open our doors to all foreign direct investment, we will not permit Liberian-owned businesses to be marginalized. As we open our doors to all foreign direct investment, we will not permit Liberian-owned businesses to be marginalized. We cannot remain spectators in our own economy. My government will prioritize the interests of Liberian-owned businesses and offer programs to help them become more competitive and offer services that international investors seek as partners. My fellow Liberians, this victory would not have been possible without the support of the youth of this country, the women of this country, especially those who make their living by selling in the markets. To all of you, I want to say a heartfelt thank you. This is your government. Lincoln of the United States of America, the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We could not have arrived at this day without our voices being heard loudly, and all our views, no matter how critical, being freely expressed in an atmosphere void of intimidation and arrest. This was only made possible by the tolerance of my predecessor, Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who protected the rights of freedom of speech as enshrined in our Constitution. Now, in my turn, I will go further to encourage and reinforce not only freedom of speech, but also freedom of political assembly. My fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, to change the structure of Liberian economy will require huge investment in agriculture, infrastructure, in human capital, and in technology. We hope our international development partners will assist us in this transformation. Meanwhile, on behalf of all Liberians, I would like to thank the international community for the invaluable contributions they have made to our peace and economic development. I thank the economic community of the West African states, the ECOWAS, for standing with Liberia throughout these years. Many of our West African brothers and sisters shed their blood for Liberians during our conflict. This is a debt Liberians would never be able to repay. We count these fallen West African soldiers among the martyrs of our history. Without their supreme sacrifices, this day would not have been possible. ECOWAS will continue to play a very meaningful role during my presidency. I also thank the United Nations for the important role it has played in Liberia. We stood with the United Nations at its founding, when it was just an idea driven by ideas. Then in our darkest day, the UN stood with us. The UN peacekeeping mission has been shown unbroken peace within our borders for more than a decade, and will soon demonstrate their confidence in us by transitioning its tax from peacekeeping program of the UN organization, which will continue in key sectors such as education, health, and agriculture. Ending the peacekeeping mission successfully is something which all Liberians and our partners should take great pride. We thank all members, countries of the United Nations for your support, and I promise to continue to build on the success that we have achieved together. To the government and people of the United States of America, we thank you for your strong support over the years. The Republic of Liberia has a strong historic relationship with the United States of America, which has manifested itself, and that relationship will even be stronger under my administration. To the European Union, I say thank you for your strong partnership with Liberia. European aid has provided critical support for Liberia recovery from war, and this continues of all Liberians. The Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex To the People's Republic of China, I say to you, Xie Xie. Our administration will continue to support the One China policy. China has emerged as one of Liberia's most dependable allies. It is my hope that Chinese-Liberian relationships will grow stronger during my tenure as president. The Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex, built by the Chinese, where this inaugural ceremony is being held, is where I give my exposure to the football world. It does not only stand as a monument of Chinese friendship towards Liberians, but it also stands as a symbol of peace and reconciliation for Liberian people. During our civil conflict, this was the venue that brought opposing factions together during national marches, effectively reconciling them to a single national purpose, Liberia. And once again today, we stand at this same venue, united for one purpose, Liberia. This is the time that we put away our political differences to work together in forging a new Liberia where the affordability of all goods and services will no longer be luxury to the privileged, but rather a right for all Liberians. To the African Union, I also say thank you for standing with Liberia over the past several years. Liberia has always had an historic relationship with the AU. As a founding member of the African Union, I look forward to participating with my colleagues at the forthcoming summit, where we intend to utilize the resources and expertise of the African Union for the benefit of our country. To other bilateral and multilateral partners, I say a sincere thanks to you, the World Bank, Sweden, the United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Norway, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, to name too few, have also played important roles in Liberia's emergence from conflict and will remain critical for the transformation we seek. My fellow Liberian, my greatest contribution to this country as president may not last in the eloquence of my speeches, but will definitely last in the quality of the decision that I will make over the next 6 years to advance the lives of poor Liberians. I intend to construct the greatest machinery of pro-poor governance in the history of this country. I will do more than my fair share to meet your expectation. I ask you to meet mine, for I cannot do it alone. Mine is an expectation that you, fellow citizens, will rise up and take control and responsibility for your destiny. That you will look away from the things that divide us and draw strength and energy from the things that unite us. Mine is an expectation that you will push yourselves to achieve the possibilities that are within your reach. That you will aim to do more for yourselves and expect others to do less. And mine is a further expectation that you will discover a new sense of fairness and integrity, a new love for country and for each other, a love that will turn public servants and government officials into national champions for change, a love that will bring back home Liberians scattered far and wide across the globe. Many of them highly skilled, talented, and experienced, join us in building a new Liberia. The sooner we all merge our energies towards cementing these new norms and values, the sooner we will transform our beloved country for the better. It is so must also learn virtue of patience. Learn to lower our expectation, for I do not promise you quick fixes or miracles. Instead, my pledge to you today is that my administration, with your help, will make steady and deliberate progress towards achieving the hopes and aspirations that you cherish in your heart for Mama Liberia. Let me close with these reassuring words from our national anthem. With God above, our rise to prove, we will over all prevail. Long live Liberia, happy land, a home of glorious liberty by God's command. May the Almighty God bless the works of our hands and save the states. I thank you.
Just in it, as you can see, he prayed a smile in this identical confirmation. So just keep posted. We will give you all necessary updates as it relates to this identical confirmation here.
Distinguished colleagues, we are about to start this confirmation hearing of the nominee for the position of Managing Director Designate of the LAA. So we will ask the senior arm to please place the nominee on an oath.
I,
Arlington Conley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
a testimony about to give
the testimony I'm about to give
and to my recollection
and to my recollection
is the truth,
is the truth,
nothing but the truth.
nothing but truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Chairman, the Lower Commission of Transport, Wisconsin State Road.
Thank you. Mr. Nominee, you have come to the Transport Committee of the Liberian Senate that has oversight responsibility on the transport industry. You have been nominated for confirmation by the President of the Republic of Liberia, and we will want you to justify to us why you think you are the right person for this portfolio. So we want you to take a few minutes to tell us about yourself. Yeah.
Introduce ourselves first.
Okay, I've just been told that the Senate members of the committee and other senators that are interested should be introduced. So it's just coming on and going off. So we want you to, but anyway, introduce yourself.
You get a long way to introduce himself.
Yeah. Let us not confuse this thing.
No, that'd be us.
So, yeah, let's start there. So,
I will introduce him. TH.
My name, thank you, my dear, for coming. Thank you, colleague, Mr. Chair. My name is Nominati Ishbatekwa. I represent the people of Grand Group and member of the committee.
Coming we said from River G County.
Level Brown, Maryland, member of this committee.
I'm Abraham Darrell Dilla. I'm the co-chair of the Senate Committee on Transport.
I'm Senator Francis SP for Rose County, two-time chairman of the committee, member of the committee state. Thank you.
I'm Senator J. Litton TJ. I'm signed up. I'm the ranking member of this committee and I've been on the committee for 8 years. So no one knows more about the committee more than me.
So you have paid?
they created the committee.
I know.
I see why they are sitting together.
Senator Jala, Local County.
I am Senator Jonathan Botras, Survey of River G County.
Senator Daniel F. Norton, Chairman from Dartmouth. Yeah, introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, this honorable body. My name is Darlington Chokon Conley. I'm a Christian from the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I am of wife with strong spiritual background. I'm also a Liberian from the grassroots, from the slum of 12th Street. I remember walking every day from 12th Street to Adventist High School to obtain high school. And I want to thank the president also who saw in a need that this time around a young person like me can come down to serve my people. And I take it as a great honor. And I will pause here if there's anything else you want to know.
Okay, I thought you would have said something a little bit more about yourself, specifically relating to the industry to which you have been nominated.
Well, I went to aviation school in Philadelphia. It's called the Aviation Institute for Maintenance, called AIM for short. It's a 21-month program. I stay additional 6 months to do something called avionics. Avionics has to do with the brain of the plane, that's the electrical part, and the computer that runs the plane. So it's a professional certificate of 190 hours And in this fee, we do more certificates, to satisfy you for certain programs and certain aircraft. But I'm satisfied from the Federal Aviation Authority to work on anything that is aeronautical. And I worked in that field since 2018. Before I even came, that was where I was working. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleague, we just listened to the nominee. I think we have the opportunity now to interact with him so that we can be very clear in our decision making relative to confirmation. So, any of us who has anything to put to him? Yes, Senator Wilson.
Mr. Chairman, I thought that the nominee was going to continue with the first question you asked, and that question is, why do you feel qualified to carry out this job? First, what is the job to which you've been nominated? Why do you feel that you're qualified for it? And I want to remind you that the...
Mr. Chairman?
Well, you have interrupted. I will start talking after our colleague sits down. Okay. So, we want you to be reminded